Hey y'all, it's Taylor from Tattoo Teacher Plans. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So today is going to be a Q&A. It's my first face-to-face Q&A. I've done Q&As during Plan With Me's and things like that, but never face-to-face like this. So this is part of my 10K celebration for Instagram, and you guys gave me a lot of questions. Some of them I combined, or if they were very similar, I just kind of reworded them so that I kind of covered all the bases. I think I got to all the questions. There were a couple that I kind of left off because the list was just getting really long, but I have them all on my iPad here, so I'm going to refer to this so that I know what questions you asked. I did divide them into a couple of categories. So I've got personal, COVID-related, planning questions, teaching questions, and just random questions. So we're going to start at the top with the personal questions. So first, you guys wanted to know, how old am I? I'm 36. Then I got the question, do you want to have kids and or get married? So no kids for me. I have decided that's not my path in life. I just want to be a really good aunt and super attentive sister and just be a good family member to the cousins that I have, just all the family, just not, it's not in my cards. When it comes to like relationships and stuff, I live in a super conservative area and I am not super conservative. So that has been kind of a struggle, but I've done a lot of work on myself in the past couple of years and I'm really content with me. And if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, then I'm good because I'm good with me. The next question, besides planning, what brings you joy? So definitely the outdoors. I love anything outdoors, hiking, camping even, although I have a limit for how many days I want to go camping. Also just spending time with friends and family. That's my favorite thing. Cooking also brings me a lot of joy. Little known fact about me, I'll try to drop these in as we go, but I actually got accepted to culinary school when I was 18 years old, and I decided not to go because that wasn't the path that I needed to take. But yeah, I love cooking even still. And my best friend is our culinary arts teacher, so we get to talk about food all the time, which is great. I also just love watching shows, TV, movies, all of that, and reading as well, although I am a pretty slow reader. I pretty much only read at night, so I just get a couple chapters in as much as I can and then move on to the next book. Okay, so grad school journey was another question I got a couple of times. So I actually went to grad school first for curriculum and instruction in the field of education, and I decided that that was not what I wanted to do because it was boring, and the program that I was in, which was at my alma mater, was really long. It was over 3 years, and I just didn't want to spend the money that it was going to cost me and to complete a program that I wasn't sure that I loved. So I ended up taking about a year and a half off of grad school, and then I applied to another program, and this time it was at a different university, and it was a shorter program, and it was for educational leadership and policy. So I ended up getting my master's degree in educational leadership. So I am not a principal. I don't have my principal certification, but I do have the degree, which is kind of pretty generic in terms of leadership positions in schools. So I felt that it was like a good thing to pick. And it was really interesting. Like the classes were good and things like that. So where did I go to college? So I went to West Texas A&M University in Canyon, Texas, which is not very far from where I live. It's just like one town over. And I got my bachelor's degree in social sciences with education as my focus. And then I got my master's degree from University of Texas at Arlington. And that was an online program. It was really good. I recommend it. Both schools, great. WT has kind of a special place in my heart because it's where my parents met and they graduated from there as well, and it was a great experience going there. It's a small-ish school, but there's like a lot of programs, so many programs. It's just a really, really good school and I love it, and Go Buffs. Okay, so another question that I got in some form or another was, how do you balance being a working professional and doing social media stuff? So for me, it is prioritizing my professional life over my social media life, because this isn't a job for me. I know a lot of people are kind of segueing into making this kind of their second career or an additional career, and that is not really what I want to do right now. I love education. It's my passion. And I do love my, 8 to 5 job or an 8 to 4 job. And I'm really, really super passionate about that job. So I do a lot of stuff on the weekends. I prep posts. So on Instagram, I'll have pretty much all of my posts ready so that all I have to do is just press a button and send it to go on the day and time that I want. That is super helpful, although it is kind of time consuming. I also do all of my filming on the weekend for the most part. And then I will try to do little tasks during the week to kind of take the pressure off of the weekend when I can. But lately I've been so tired on the weekdays that I've been pushing everything to the weekend. But luckily I enjoy all of this. Although editing is not my favorite thing in the world, I do love what I do for my channel and my Instagram. So it's all fun for me. And even though it is tedious, sometimes I do kind of make time for what I want to do. Okay, so there were 2 COVID related questions. One of them was, what opportunities have you been able to take advantage of that you might not have done in this unusual year? I thought that was a great question. So one that really stands out to me is more contact with my family and more meaningful contact. So we haven't been able to really be together, especially extended family, but we had like a Zoom conversation with my grandparents where we just asked them a bunch of questions about their childhoods and their families and their first jobs, all kinds of stuff. And that was super fascinating to hear all of those stories that I had never heard before. And even my parents had never heard before. So that one definitely stands out. But even just like more frequent phone calls with my parents and FaceTiming more with my sister and trying to connect with my nephew. And we have another nephew on the way. And so, I'm just trying to keep the family connections strong and supportive and prioritizing them. So that's been really good. Also just like reading more is another thing that I've been doing more. During grad school, I put reading on the back burner. And then when it was over, I always meant to like start a routine of reading. And then, things just come up and I would watch TV instead of reading. So now I'm really trying to make time for reading and making it part of my PM routine and that kind of thing. The other COVID question was any quarantine home improvement projects. And I did do a lot. I did a lot of yard work. That was where I spent most of my time because I just needed to get out of the house. And even though it was a couple steps outside my own door, being outside was really helpful during, especially like the lockdown time. So I planted a new garden across the front of my house. And then I did a lot of work on my actual grass to kind of get it healthy. And it's still not where I want it to be, but we're in a better position now than last year. So I'm really, I'm proud of my projects. I also did some work in my bathroom doing some regrouting and caulking and things like that, but that wasn't very exciting. And then just like some deep cleaning projects and things like that. I know that I could have done more, but I did what I could and what I felt I could do at the time, and I'm kind of proud of that. So okay, next is planning questions. This was the biggest category, obviously. So one question, I got a lot of questions about memory planning, but this one was the most common one, which was what inspired you to do memory planning, or like why did you start doing memory planning? And the short answer is that I just missed scrapbooking. I loved scrapbooking, but it's like a lot of supplies and it's like big 12 by 12 pages and papers and just a lot of stuff. And I wanted to kind of take the idea of scrapbooking and then just like pare it down to something a little bit more simple. And I felt like memory planning was that option. I really started seeing people putting pictures in their spreads. And then I was thinking, what if I took journaling and pictures and my plans that I want to remember in the future, and I just put them all in one spread in a separate planner. So I just kind of took ideas from a lot of different places, and then I've just figured out my style over the years. And I've pretty much had the same style for 2 to 3 years when it comes to memory planning. It's easy for me to sit down. I know how I like it to be set up, and I just do it. I can knock one out in like 35 to 45 minutes, and I have a memory keeping spread to look back on for years from now. And I do look back at my memory planner. I love it. It's my favorite kind of planner, I think. So that's the idea that I had and what inspired me to actually start memory planning, which I think is becoming a little bit more common now because I get a lot of questions, especially lately, about memory planning. So I'm excited about that. If you could choose one planner brand forever, what would you choose and why? This is the cruelest question to ask a planner girl, and I'm going to say that I refuse to answer this because the best thing about planning is all of the supplies, so don't make me choose. Okay, do you buy kits with specific weeks in mind, and how do you avoid overspending? So yes, I do buy kits specifically for certain weeks, especially holiday weeks. So I want to have a kit for Thanksgiving week or Christmas week or things like that, then I will search for a specific kit for that week. But I also do spreads in my memory planner, so I can move kits around between the two planners. And I also buy, not just one Halloween kit or one Christmas kit. I buy it for the season, so I can just kind of move them around to where I want them to be. Do I overbuy sometimes? Yes, but it's pretty rare because I keep a organizer of my kits, and I will just pop in a picture of what that looks like and how I have it organized so you can see. But it's in my regular everyday planner, so I can see it often because that's the planner I use every day. And it's just really helpful. I can pencil in which kit I want to use for which week, and I can just see, okay, well, these are all filled up. I don't have any more room, and I will move on from that kit unless I absolutely loved it and want to bump something, but most of the time that doesn't happen. And then if I have extra kits, I will either sell them, or if they were gifted to me, then I will just hand them off to someone else. So that little organizer that I have made in my planner has really helped me stay on track when it comes to budget. Okay, so do you pre-plan memory spreads? Yes, I do. And how do you choose what to include? So I do have a memory planner frequently asked questions video where I set up my new planner that I set up in July. So I will link that down in the description for you if you are really into learning more about memory planning. But there's 2 methods that I found that have worked. So I have these 2 right here. Okay, so when I first started, I used a notepad, similar, something like this, a kind of day of the week notepad, which was helpful because I really plan, or I like put the spread together a week or 2 after the week is over. So really I don't need anything permanent. So this worked really great if you want to use something like that. But recently I started using my plum paper daily. So here is what a spread looks like in my plum paper daily. And I have a spot for my memory planner notes and for my gratitude because I use the monthly spreads for daily gratitude. And so this is where I make my notes currently. But I will say when 2021 rolls around, I'm going to be switching my pre-planning system to my mäksēlife weekly pages. So that's going to change a little bit, but I will still have room for them. And that's where I'm going to keep those 2 things, which is my gratitude and then things that I want to include in the spread. So what do I include? So mainly I choose, like, this is a weird way to say it, but it's how it works. Big feelings and big events. So anything that really stands out to me that I want to include, and then whatever I'm feeling. So if there are big feelings, then I need to get them down on paper and out of my head because that really helps me, emotionally process things. I do use the pages in between the months that I don't ever show you for journaling. So I'm using pretty much all of the planner and all the planner pages for various things. But big events and big feelings is kind of what I go with. And making notes of them definitely helps because then I'll know what to talk about later. Okay, so Oh, also images that speak to me. I'll take screenshots of stuff and then put them into my memory planner, whether it's like a motivational quote or just anything that kind of just inspires me that day or week. Okay, so what's the biggest frustration when it comes to planning? That is like finishing a spread that you know, or I know, is not what I want it to be. So, and also time. Time is sometimes a constraint that I have no control over, but I want to do my planning. So I just have to make time for it and schedule time for planning because my type of planning takes time, but I also enjoy it. So it's worth it. The other like companion question to that one is, what's your biggest joy from planning? And I love seeing a spread come together, especially like if I have the pre-planning done and then on Monday, I like fill in Monday and I'm like, yes, this is going to be a good week. That's my favorite thing because then I just enjoy the whole week. I rarely have like a bust week. It happens, but like not very often because I can usually like change things so that they're how I want them to be. Okay, so how do you stay motivated to stick to the habit of planning? And that's because I love it. It's fun for me. And if it's not fun for you, maybe try a different style because I love my style and people are always asking me to try something different and I resist it because I love what I do when it comes to planning. So find your style, and if you don't love it, maybe that's, time to change it. Planner stack changes. Yes, I kind of hinted at that a minute ago, but I'm ditching the plum paper daily, not because I didn't love it, but because I need to simplify my planner stack. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to utilize my mäksēlife more. So I'm actually going to be putting in all of my pre-planning and my content planning and my memory planner notes into that planner. So I'm going to use the monthly spreads for content planning and for pre-planning my monthlies. And then I'm going to use the weekly pages for pre-planning the weeks and for my memory planner notes. So I think it's going to work out really well. And I've already got December set up in my current mäksēlife so that I can try it out and just make sure that I'm going to love it. But I think I am because it's going to keep everything in one book and I have my goals in there and it's just going to like reduce my stack. I'm also going to ditch my meal planner, not because I don't love it again, but because I found a notepad from Lights Planner Action that's almost the exact same thing as what I'm using now, but it's more simple, which I really like. And then the daily part of my daily planner that I am going to miss is the weekends. So also from Lights Planner Action, I have some notepads that have daily, like a daily breakdown. And I will definitely do a video on my 2021 planner stack so you can see all of this stuff. But that's what I'm going to change. The other stuff's going to stay the same. My goals will be in my mäksēlife. My teacher planner is still the same. My everyday planner is still the same. And my memory planner is still the same. Okay, so are you tempted to buy new planners all the time? Actually, no. I like what I use. And then when I feel the need to tweak something, then I tweak it when I need to. But I do not ditch planners very often. Ditching the Lights Planner Action coiled planner that I tried earlier this year was painful for me because I'm a finisher. I like to finish things. And ditching planners or swapping planners or doing whatever, I can't do it. I can't jump from one thing to the next. I need to have consistency. So actually, I don't buy many planners. Who inspires you in the planner community? Okay, so I made some notes here. So when it comes to content, I think Lakin is just super inspirational because she's always pushing herself to try something new. And I've gotten a lot of inspiration to try those new things from watching her. And she's just very natural at it, which I am not natural at social media stuff. I'm a little bit older than most of y'all, and it just doesn't come to me naturally. I have to work at it, but seeing other people do it as an example, like, gives me ideas and hope and all that. Anna Lynn Plans on Instagram, and she has a YouTube channel as well. Her handwriting is beautiful, so beautiful, and she's just super inspiring when it comes to social justice issues. She's also a history teacher like I am, and she stays up on everything. So when she posts stuff, I just trust her and I know how passionate she is about everything, and she just really pushes me and inspires me in that area. Also, Planner Girls Rock. Again, lots of social justice issues, planner community involvement and inspiration also coming from her. And then Sierra Friend from mäksēlife when it comes to goals. She is just the goals queen. And then when it comes to positivity in the planner community, Darian, her Planning Together series just every week just uplifts me and pushes me and inspires me and gives me ideas. And her positivity is truly infectious. And then I also wanted to mention a couple of artists. So Kitnish Jess, her art, I love everything she does. And then Planning with Intention, she is very intentional about her art and her lettering, and I just think she's super inspiring too. She's got a lot of really great things to say. How much time do you spend planning each week or day? So when it comes to the week, I plan about 2 hours on the weekends, and that's mainly because I'm filming. I could probably be faster if I wasn't filming stuff, but filming adds more time. Also editing, that's not including editing. So editing takes a lot of time. And then just daily is like 15 minutes or less. So that's why I like to pre-plan my week and have everything laid out. And then all I have to do is just update, check off, add, and it's good to go. So the daily planning is easy. I check in the morning for just a minute and just to look at my day, and then I check in the evening, add in my workout and anything else that's going on that day or the rest of the week. So daily, it's not a big deal at all. The weekends, though, is a little more time consuming. Okay, what advice do you have for planners wanting to expand their YouTube channel outreach? So I have 2 things here. Well, 3 things here. Okay, first of all, consistency is key. If you can just upload once a week, then pick a day of the week and upload that day every week. If you can do 2 days a week, then do Monday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Friday, or whatever you want to do, but do it consistently so that your audience knows where they can find you, when they can find you, when they can watch you, all of that. The second thing is to comment and engage with other planners. You should be subscribing and watching other planners and commenting on their stuff, engaging with them, engaging with other people in the comment sections. And then also be yourself. This is probably the most important one. If you are fake or you're trying to copy someone else or you're doing something that's not you, it shows. So, and this is hard too, because it took me a while to really get comfortable with my style, not trying to do what everybody else is doing, just doing me. But once I found that, then everything just kind of falls into place. So those 3 things I think are really helpful when it comes to YouTube specifically. And then the last question on the planning section was, have you ever been to a planner conference? And no, I haven't, but I plan to. I want to for sure. I was going to go to Go Wild, and then there was something, you have like a gut feeling that it's not the right time or not the right thing. That's what I felt. So in the future, I definitely want to, and I will. I just haven't quite gotten to that point yet. And then I need to set aside budget and things like that. Okay, so we're going to go to teaching questions, and I'm going to try to go a little faster because this video is going to be forever long. Okay, so when it comes to teaching, when did you want to become a teacher? Like, when did you know you wanted to be a teacher? And that was like always. When I was a little kid, I loved school. I've always loved school. I love school even now. I love just being at school. And I enjoyed school. My parents are both teachers. We have teachers in the extended family. It's just like teaching is in my blood, I think, and I truly enjoy it. And I've always been a nerd too. Y'all don't know how much of a weirdo I am, but you do know, hopefully you've picked up on the fact that I am a mega nerd. And I remember like practicing my handwriting with my mom because she has like elementary school teacher handwriting. And I remember like on days that we wouldn't have school, but her school would, I would go and like hang out in her classroom and like just love everything. Or just like, this is so nerdy. Okay, so one year she brought home, or my dad, I can't remember, one of them brought home an overhead projector, and I played school with the overhead projector for like weeks. And I would play school all the time when I was a kid. So it was not a surprise to anyone that I became a teacher. I did take a little detour in college and tried a couple of different things, but nothing stuck. I thought maybe law would be, because it's an interest of mine, but I realized pretty quickly through a couple of law classes that it wasn't like the career that I wanted, but it was definitely something that I'm appreciative that I explored. But education was like where I was supposed to be. I even had a couple of hard first years teaching because I teach at a really tough school. All of our kids are at risk and they have emotional needs and all kinds of different things, and it's hard. And being a first year teacher, you don't know how to deal with that. So like after my second year, I thought maybe I need to try a different career. So I went to career counseling at my alma mater, and we went through, I don't even know how many sessions of career counseling and aptitude tests and all kinds of tests. And by the end, the counselor finally was like, We've been through all of this, and you know you're supposed to be a teacher, right? Like, that's what you're supposed to be doing." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. That's gonna be my life's work." And I'm totally good with that. I think one of the questions was like, um, do you want to be a teacher forever? And yeah, I think I do want to I want to like see this through and like build something within education, especially at the school that I'm at. I have been there for 14 years and I love it. I love the kids. I love the teachers. It's just amazing. So how long have you been a teacher is another question. And 14 years. I have been at the same school for 14 years. That's crazy. Like, I don't feel 36, but I definitely don't feel like I've been teaching for 14 years. It's crazy. But I do love my career. Um, One of the things that someone asked was, if you weren't a teacher, what career would appeal to you? And I think in another life, I would maybe do museum work, like curating historical museums or art museums, because art is another super passion of mine. But also like research work, I'm really interested in that as well. Some of my favorite classes in college were our historical research classes. They were just amazing. And I'm really passionate about teaching my students how to do proper research and how to put it together and all of that. I know that, again, nerd alert, but I love it. So, one do you see yourself doing this your entire career? Like, let's go back to that question, because I think one of the things that saved my teaching career and helped me stay in the profession and like stick it out is because I'm not teaching a full day of school anymore. I'm an instructional technology coach for most of the day. I do still have one class. So I do get to have like my passion of teaching, but I also get to have the passion of, how many times can I say passion in this video? But I get to help adults too. I get to help teachers and assist them and help them with all kinds of different things. And taking myself out of the classroom full time actually saved my career, which I'm really grateful for. And I absolutely love what I'm doing now and getting to be able to work with my leadership team at my school, but also kids and adults. It's just best of all the worlds. So I love it. All right. So this was another question was, I got this one a lot. Do your students know about your YouTube channel? And yes, they do. So I don't know how, I think it was actually a teacher who told the secret. It's not a secret, but they actually told the kids. And then of course it spread. Our school's tiny. So it spread throughout the whole school. And now they all know. And they do watch it. That was another question. Do they watch? Yes, they do, but not for very long because they're teenagers and they don't care. And I tell them that when they're like, I'm going to watch your channel and stuff. And I'm like, okay, you're going to watch a minute of it and then you're going to click out of it because you're going to be bored. So it has not been an issue at all. Um, I don't have anything to hide from my kids, so they can watch it however much they want. I don't care. It's never been an issue. They've respected boundaries when it comes to that so far, and I think it's been good too because it's opened up some conversations. I've actually helped them with some YouTube stuff that they're working on, and it's been kind of fun. And then the other questions were about Planner Club. So, are you still doing Planner Club? And it's on hold right now because we're not really allowed to gather unless it's necessary, and clubs are not considered super necessary right now. So, we're on hold. We're not like done. I still talk to all the kids that are in Planner Club, and I hope that we will resume it in the next few months or next year, whatever happens. But that brought me a lot of joy, and I think it brought them a lot of joy too. It was really fun. And someone asked, "Did you show the Planner Club your actual spreads?" Yeah, I brought my planners to them. Their minds were blown, and their reaction was funny because they all said, "This is too much," and I said, "Yeah, it is." Let's go the happy planner route. We're going to simplify. We're going to get some highlighters, some cute pens, some post-its, some sticker books, and we're going to make it work and make it simple for you guys. And that's what they loved. And it was perfect. So they weren't really interested in my spreads. They wanted to make their own and do it in their style, which I thought was great. One question was about what do you think the impact of distance learning will be like long term? And I think it depends on the students. It's sad to say, but lower socioeconomic students are being hit harder by the pandemic and the effects of distance learning, and they're going to have long-term effects. More affluent students, they are not going to have as many effects. They'll have some, but they'll be able to make up their gaps because they'll have the resources to do that. And it's a sad thing to say that our education system is biased and it separates us into groups, but it does, and we will be affected for sure. Someone was specifically asking about, I have kids. What's your thoughts on this? And I do think that support from home helps, but it totally depends on so many factors. So I don't think I can make like a blanket statement about what I think the effects are going to be. I think it's going to be like community to community and family to family because it's hard to ask people who are just trying to survive to do distance learning and do it well versus other families that have more resources. So I'm sure it's going to be studied, and those studies are going to be very interesting, and we're going to have a lot of work to do. We're trying to do work now, but really we can't go like full into it until this is over. So I guess my answer is really I don't know. And I don't say that to be like flippant about it. It's just like I'm not sure. So I think it depends on a lot of different things. So, what recommendations do you have for teachers in a hybrid classroom? Hybrid is so hard, you guys. We went full distance learning for a couple of days, and then we were able to bring some kids in slowly to our school. So we have been hybrid for several weeks now, and it is so hard. And I don't think people understand who are not teachers how extremely hard it is. It's multitasking to 100 degrees. Like, it's just like so much to do at once, and it's so hard. But here's my advice that I learned like through the process and working with teachers and figuring out what they need. First thing is if you can get an extra monitor or two, that would be super helpful for you so you can see your kids on Meet or Zoom, and then you can also have, Classroom or Schoology or whatever up at the same time along with your, email and all that. If you can have multiple screens, I think that is definitely something that will help. Also, finding a setup, a standing desk with your monitors, with your notebook, your plans, your whatever. Find your setup and figure out how you want your desk or table or wherever you are, how you want it set up to work for you. Tweak it every day just to see what works, because a lot of people need an external mouse. They need the extra monitors. They need notes about different things. They need to know who's at home and who's in school and have their attendance up and all that stuff. So figure out your setup, physical setup, and I think that will be at least a little helpful, but I'm telling you, this is super hard. The other thing is like your routine for the class. So what's the first thing you do? What's the next thing you do? then you check in with the kids on this, and then you do this. Figure out what your classroom routine is, and for now, keep it real rigid, keep it kind of strict when it comes to your schedule and your time, and then you can relax as you get more comfortable, but figure out how your classroom needs to run and your physical environment. So that's my advice, but the best of luck to you because it's just so hard. And then I have a couple of random questions to wrap up, so I will try to go through these as quickly as I can. So what are some states you want to travel to? I made a list here. So I definitely want to go to Washington and Oregon. I just think it's really beautiful. I'm very outdoorsy. I love all of that. So I think that that would be a great place to visit. Also, South Carolina. I've been to North Carolina, but I haven't been to South Carolina yet, and I definitely want to. Also, like Montana, Idaho, South Dakota, those areas are just really beautiful, and I've been watching a travel series on those, and I want to just go visit and just see what's going on up there. And then also Alaska and Hawaii are definitely on the list, but who knows when that's going to happen or when any of this is going to happen, but those are definitely states that I want to visit. Okay, what's your favorite animal? Any big cat. I love lions, tigers, ocelots, cougars, any big cat. I love them. I would love to hug them, but I know that they will kill me, so I choose not to. But I love any kind of big cat. I have 2 cats of my own, and they are just so cute. But big cats, I want to hug them and just just take a nap with them or something. I know that's weird. Okay, if you could live anywhere in the world with an unlimited budget, where would you live? I thought about this for quite a while, and I think that it would be like Scotland or Ireland. I haven't been there. It's on my list. It's definitely like a future plan, but I follow a lot of bloggers that either live there or they're traveling there, and I just think it's beautiful. I think the weather is so pretty, and I just think it's like my ideal place. Just judging, I haven't been there, so I guess I can't say for sure, but I do want to possibly live there someday, or at least do an extended visit. But that's what I would have to say because I'm not a tropical person, and I think like extreme winter would just not be my thing. So I think that would be good. Okay, someone complimented my nails, which is really nice. And then they said, do you get them done at a salon or do you do them yourself? I do them every weekend. It's kind of just like a ritual routine that I like to do. I have been to a salon and it's just not my thing. It's also just kind of like not where I want to spend my money and when I can do it myself. And I am very particular about a lot of things, but my nails for sure. I always have some kind of sheer polish. What's funny is I don't have any polish on right now at all, but usually I have some kind of sheer polish on my nails because that's the only thing that I like. Okay, curly hair journey. Long story short is when I was 11, my hair turned curly. Before that, it was so straight, it wouldn't even take a perm. It was like stick straight. And then all of a sudden I got curly hair. So I fought it till I was 14 and in high school. And then I decided to go with it because my best friend at the time, Robin, she also had curly hair. So I felt like I had a curly hair sister that we could get through this together. So we both wore our hair naturally all through high school. I've actually worn it naturally since then. I really have only straightened it a handful of times since high school, which is a long time ago. But yeah, I have accepted my curly hair. I love it. I don't straighten it, like I said. It is a constant battle of bad hair days. Those good hair days are not very common. My hair used to be super, super kinky curly, in high school, and it had a lot more density. And since then, throughout college, it got more and more relaxed, and now it's starting to pick up the curl again a little bit, but not too much. And I'm always trying out new products. Current favorites are Curlsmith and Verb. I really like those 2 brands, but I'm always trying new things and wasting money on curly hair products. And I'm in a couple of Facebook groups. Well, actually one now I think that is my favorite. And They give me a lot of ideas, and Mains by Mill on YouTube also gives me a lot of good ideas. So the curly hair journey is continuing probably forever. I have a lot of curly hair people in my family, so I know that this is like gonna be a battle for the rest of my life. I do enjoy and love my curly hair. Okay. Next is, are you a Karen or a Georgia? So if you are not a My Favorite Murder podcast fan, there are two hosts, Karen and Georgia, and this is always a common question when you come up with, or like interact with murderinos. So I would have to say I am a Karen for the most part, but, and that's mostly for like Karen's snarkiness, because I love her humor and her viewpoints on life and how she reacts to things, but also I have a little bit of Georgia's like optimism and hope. So mostly Karen with a little splash of Georgia. Okay, so what superpower would you want most? And that would be teleportation. Like, how cool would it be to just like blink your eyes or whatever and just like be across the world or at work? Because I have to drive 45 minutes to work. How nice would it be to sleep in for 45 more minutes and then just be like there? Like, that would be amazing. So teleportation for sure. And then, can you show us your sweet cats? Yes, I can. I'm going to put some pictures on the screen for you because I've got a couple really cute ones. But there's one right here. If you can't, I don't think you can see her, but she's right here. Right here. This is Liberty. She is a tiny little cat. She always has been. She is 12, I think. Pretty sure she's 12. And then I have another fat cat who's like 14 pounds, and she's a Duluth Tortie, and she is a mess and a half, but she entertains me all the time, and I love her so much. But she is like 4.5, 5, 4.5, I think. But yeah, those are my two cats. But I will leave pictures because I don't know where Scout is. She's around here somewhere, but probably tearing something up or eating it or whatever, because she's always getting into a mess of some kind. Okay, this is the last question, and I thought this was a great one, and I don't have a very good answer for this because I am a history teacher, historian. I can't pick. But the question is, if you could have dinner with anyone living or dead, who would it be, and what would your meal be? So I thought about this. I have a lot of options. Okay. A lot. Okay. Queen Elizabeth I, for sure. I think Paul would be amazing. George Washington. So many people. Like Booker T. Washington, W.B. Du Bois, like Walt Whitman, just so many people. But I did decide, mainly because of the meal too. Okay, the meal played a role in this. So I would invite Teddy Roosevelt, former president and national park enthusiast, to be my guest. And our meal would be, this is very specific, but I think that Teddy would appreciate this because it would be a nice hearty meal, and it would be like Texas hospitality. So we would have a really, really good steak, medium rare, of course. It's the best way and the only way to eat steak. Twice baked potatoes with some cheese on top and some chives. A side salad with a good dressing. Some pan-fried green beans. And then a warm, maybe a roll too, like a good sweet roll. And then some warm peach pie with some vanilla bean bluebell ice cream on top. It's like kind of melting. Yes. Okay, so it would be Teddy Roosevelt and then my Texas meal. So that's my answer for that one. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this Q&A. It was very fun to answer your questions. I have a feeling that I'm gonna have to do this again in the future and answer some more questions because this felt like it was just like a start. I have so much more to tell you about myself. Even though I'm pretty boring, I feel like I have more to say. So I hope that you guys really loved this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel. And join me over on Instagram. We're at 10K. We're just building up from there. It's been just such a fun 10K celebration that I just have loved the whole experience. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye!